Hello and welcome back to W Rated, the podcast where we willingly watch the world's worst rated movies.
This is the second part of our Razzies special. We're going to drop you right back in where we're discussing Bruce Willis and his 8 nominated films. Enjoy!
We have to pay attention and regard and pure disdain, in my opinion, to the worst offender of them all, who had their own category this year because they appeared in 8 different films in 2021. Forgot what year it was then. And you might think, Daisy, wow, 8 films. What a marvel. What a leader in their craft, to be committing themselves to the screen. And you know what? If you heard the name of who it is, you'd probably be like, oh, wow. But trust me, if you have seen these films, you will know that there's a reason that there's 8 of them and how he managed to churn them out so quickly. So the nominated category is dedicated to none other than die-hard lead Mr. Bruce Willis. If you don't know, as I've just mentioned, he has kind of gone on to a bit of a certain new avenue with his career, where he's decided to opt for a lot of straight to on-demand films. And I'm not sure when this trend began, but what we do know is in the year 2021, he starred in a total of 8. And that's why Razzies have given him his whole category to have nominations for the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie. Claire, anything to preface this section with?
Yes. So I don't know. This specific category, more than any other kind of, there's always controversy when Razzies come out because Razzies are trash and we shouldn't celebrate the bad, we should celebrate the good, and we should lift things up. This category, more than any other one, got real controversy for its lack of tact because there has been a long-running rumour that Bruce Willis is very unwell. And that Bruce Willis has been struggling for a number of years with memory problems and may or may not have early onset dementia or Alzheimer's. So this has been a long-running rumour that has never been officially substantiated, but that he has concerns about his long-term health. He was on a stage version of Misery a few years ago, and It was well known that he had a microphone in his ear telling him his lines because he didn't know his lines for the whole play, and he just had a microphone telling him what to read. So when this specific category came out, a lot of people like, this is going to age really badly because if he is unwell and it is true, this is just going to now seem offensive. Got quite a lot of press, lots of people wrote articles, a few people made videos, and then on one of the videos where someone was talking about it, so I've copied this from an article, but basically Matt Escandri, who directed some of Bruce Willis's films, including Hard Kill, Spy of the Night, and Trauma Center, actually commented on one of the YouTube videos about this nomination category and about the memory loss rumours. And so one of the comments on the YouTube videos was, I read somewhere that Bruce Willis has dementia, so he's not really aware of what's going on around him. They wrote in reply to the video taking the piss out of these films and about the nominations. And this director, Escandri, replied, "Yes, this is true, my guy. I directed 4 films with him, so I know firsthand. It's a sad situation seeing a legend like Bruce deteriorating right in front of your eyes. I saw it while working with him over the last 2 years." So, the theory is that he is worried about money. He is worried about leaving money to his wife, his ex-wife, his children. So he is going and making as many of these films as he can to make money. Then there's also the theory, which I more subscribe to, that Bruce Willis has always been a very hard-working man. He started out young in the industry and he worked hard and he's always worked and he's, always had a reputation and he's come back and he's going. Not to be kind of basic, but men tend to not cope well with not being useful. Men like to be seen as strong and useful and don't like to give up power. And so I can imagine that this is a man who has spent most of his adult life working and being proud of his work and being proud of being a moneymaker, who is now refusing to step down and admit that maybe he might be sick and take a step back.
And which makes sense why he's on these smaller films, because if he is in that way, he probably wouldn't get past the risk assessment.
Yeah.
For bigger films.
And one of the things that I noticed when we were watching the films, and because of my handy-dandy letterbox stats, is that most of these films are directed by the same people, in the same places, with the same cast and crews that come in and cycle in. So and this is completely unsubstantiated, this is just the story that I've made up in my head having watched these films, is that he has found either a studio or a number of creatives that he feels comfortable with, that he trusts, that allow him to go and do the work that he wants to do
in the way that he can do it.
You can tell in most of these films, he is on the poster of every single one of them, and I would say he is in less than a third of all of the films. Maybe one or two,
maybe
he's a
even
tiny
less
bit
than
more.
that.
But in a lot of them, yeah, even less. There are some of them where you can actively tell he has never been even in the same room as the people he is acting on screen with. I think it's Apex. You could tell he was never ever even in the same studio.
I think there was one shot of him knocking a gun out of someone's hand. Yeah. Other than that,
and it's the same Midnight in the Switchgrass with Megan Fox. There were 2 shots that him and Megan Fox were in, even though all of their scenes were together, and you could tell they weren't together in those scenes. So I think he has found a community that he feels safe with. I think he's found a bunch of people who he feels trust in, and who he can do the work that he both wants to, is able to, that isn't too pressured. And I'm okay with that. I think it must be very hard.
This has completely changed my opinion.
Because I wasn't sure if you knew about this, because in our outline I just wrote Bruce Willis thing, and I didn't know if you would know what that meant.
No idea.
So yeah, it is.
And it makes so much sense.
And even I don't know, because I don't know what order I watched the 8 films in, but even watching the difference, you can see the deterioration in some of the films. In some of the films he's there, he's present, he's acting. So think the one Dangerous, and the one in the water.
That's the Dangerous.
Oh, sorry, I don't mean Dangerous then. The one where he's in the water thing and he's going to blow up the water and flood the town.
I literally just finished that. Deadlock.
So, Deadlock. He's in that one. He's acting. He's present. He's in the room. He's with the actors. Yeah.
And I say he's good because how bad he is in the other ones.
Whereas Cosmic Sin, is he even in?
I would say that Deadlock is his best, and Fortress is his absolute worst, in my opinion, which is the one with Jesse Metcalfe and Chad Michael Murray.
I liked it because I like Chad Michael Murray.
But this is the thing, is because they've got Jesse Metcalfe.
I thought the other one. I thought the other one with Chad Michael Murray was worse. The one, Survive the Game.
No,
Yeah, where like all the other characters are running around a field and Bruce Willis is tied up on a chair in a completely different place. You never see any of them?
There's like various elements to this, right? There's his actual performance, and then there's what he's been given to work with, and I think they are slightly different. And also
what his character is doing is a third element to that.
And I think with if we just sort of skim the films. So first of all, we've got Apex. First of all, we've got American Siege, which is, and we should note that all of these characters are related to some form of law enforcement.
Can I give my recipe for these films? I've come up with a recipe.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. The films have to be set somewhere in the south of America. They have to involve someone who was either an ex-law enforcement officer or ex-army, navy, some sort of armed forces. They have to involve a corrupt cop, and the main character must take down a bent police force. Multiple people must die, and my biggest regret of this whole thing is that I did not do a dead count for these movies, because I would have loved to have known which one had the highest body count. Bruce Willis always has to play a good guy. Even in the one film where he plays a bad guy, he still ends up kind of playing a good guy.
He's just a vengeful.
Yeah. And they have to have at least one, if not the best ones, have multiple CW actor who you once knew from one of your favourite teen shows.
I like it. I think you're spot on.
Yeah, they're my recipe. And they also almost always have to be filmed on location in some sort of forest.
For sure. I
Yeah,
started
that's
to pick
my
up on.
recipe to make one of these films.
I started to pick up on the forest thing about the third or fourth filming,
Yeah.
and I was a bit because I was. So my boyfriend had told me about the Red Letter Media video that I wanted to send you, which is basically like what's going on with Bruce Willis, but it didn't really go into like. I think they might have mentioned the potential illness, but it was more about the films themselves. And they kept getting confused because they were like, "Isn't the one in the forest?" And then me and him, when we were talking about it, were going, "Is that the one in the forest?" I was like, "Well, they're all in the forest, basically."
Is that the one where he plays the ex-police officer in the forest with the dead son, or the one where he plays the ex-army officer in the forest with the dead daughter, or the dead wife?
Now that we've rounded up what these films are like, we don't really need to go into too much detail with the plot. Not that they're very enthralling to begin with, but just sort of like top line thoughts about potentially Bruce in each thing. So, go on.
You go. Sorry,
no, I was just going to say about Bruce, and then maybe just like what we thought of the film overall, if there was any sort of like good or bad elements.
Because I have a big grand theory about the films as a whole.
That they're all in the same universe.
No, they're men's Hallmark movies. They are Hallmark movies for men.
Oh my god.
That's what they are. They're just Hallmark movies for men. And this is what has annoyed me about these films being in this. We would never, and maybe it's because most of the Razzie voters tend to be men, we would never watch all the Hallmark movies, both Christmas and non-Christmas, and equate them to the Oscar-nominated movies. So why are we equating these movies to other movies? They're a different class of film. They are Hallmark movies for men. They are for men that just want to put Channel 5 on while they put their hand down their pants.
These are Channel 5 movies.
They are Channel 5 movies with more violence, so they can't be on Channel 5 because it's too much shooting. But they could be on in the evening. But
these are films that my grandpa would stumble upon and then continue to watch and then tell my grandma everything that happened, but because he's only seen half the film, what he's explaining to her doesn't make sense. And then she will get annoyed and confused and he won't understand why. These are these films.
Yeah, but they're Channel 5 Hallmark movies, but for men. So let's stop pretending that they're ever going to be the same calibre as another film. Someone has just cracked the formula that Hallmark did years ago for bored women at home and done it for bored men at home. And
because there's a pandemic now. There's more men at home
now. Which also is why I think that there were so many of them were set in a forest, because it was a lot cheaper for pandemic rules, because you didn't need to wear masks and shit. They reminded me, I don't know how much like performing artsy you were as a kid.
No,
I didn't think.
I wish that I had been more, but
I was like a big performing arts kid, and so like I used to go on like day camps, like performing arts, where you'd like go and meet kids from other schools, and you'd like learn how to write plays, and like you'd all go into a corner in groups, and you'd like come up with a play and write the play together, and then you'd like act out the play at the end of the day. And I have in my head turned all of these films into a giant camp. That all of these actors and directors and writers all live in this giant camp together, and every day it's one of their turns to write the script, and that person goes and writes the script and then comes back in the morning the next day and it's like, this is our play today, and
so
they film it all in one day.
Different roles.
And they like, okay, I'll be the tough cop this time. Okay, I'll be the idiot bumbling one this time. And then, like, Bruce always gets the tough guy. And then they all just run around having a great day in the forest, filming this silly little film with their mates. And then they all get to go home and make some money. And I'm like, I love it. I am in so much support.
I've never heard, like that is so spot on to describe these films.
It's all that remind you. I was like, oh my god, these are kids at camp, and they're just having fun, and they're just making movies. And the fact that it's always the same actors turning up, and it's like, so you can imagine like Chad Michael Murray. He only comes on certain days. It's like, oh, I'll come on Saturdays. I'm not gonna come every day, but I'll come on Saturdays. So he only gets to be in like 4 of the 5, or so like 1 of the 5 or whatever. But like, it's camp. It's camp for bad actors, and then Bruce is just like their champion. And I just loved it. And
Bruce is like the drama teacher. Yeah. Where they're like, he's like, you can put me in 1 role, but I'll only be in 3 scenes.
Yeah. And like I told you before we start recording, I feel more stupid by the end of watching all of these 22 films. I genuinely feel more stupid as a person. I've lost brain cells. I've lost the ability to understand. I've lost the will to live,
to be quite honest with you.
But by the end of watching all of these, there's 8 of these, and there are like 2 other films that would kind of be similar categories.
I think that's why
I love them.
This year
I got so invested by the end.
I feel like this is why this year's been such a slog.
Yeah, well, because neither of us are big action fans either.
No.
So it's not our genre.
No. That being said, I did enjoy the experience.
I really liked a couple of them because they were better than the others.
I'm interested to see what we thought of each one. So
yeah, I want to go to Bruce Willis, Southern Hick, Bangkok camp. Please, can I come and be in one of the films?
Please submit our application now. Okay, so let's kick off. So just really, really top line. American Siege is essentially a hostage situation with, you guessed it, Bruce is the sheriff. What did I say? Bruce Willis is the sheriff, and essentially it's this group of people who want to find out what happened to their sister / ex-girlfriend, and it's all an underground drug ring, essentially. I thought that this was the one that used Bruce Willis the least, and he could easily have been chopped out of it. But I did like the being in the house scenario, and I wonder if it had been thought about a bit more, they could have said it without ever leaving the house, and that could have been quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, cheaply made, bad effects.
And I was that's also one of the things about all of these films, is for the large majority of them, Bruce being in them makes them worse, because they have to then go and take time to go and follow Bruce, when actually the interesting things are happening with the weaker actors. But because it's interesting, you'd rather just stay with them. But it's like, no, we've got to cut to our Bruce section right now. It's like on the news. And now back to Bruce for the staring in the sky and looking grumpy.
Literally. So that's what I kind of liked about it, was there wasn't
this was
interesting.
A mid one for me.
Yeah.
This was a mid for me, because again, I had a real problem with how old the people, they'd all been plotting this for 10 years, but they all looked about 22. So I was like, how long have you been plotting this mass murder, because you look like children? And so yeah, I had a problem with some of the aging, which came up a lot in these films, again, because I feel like they write the characters and then they just look at who's in on the day. Like, what character do you want? Like in a murder mystery.
Like you say, very drama camp. But yeah, I agree that in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty mid. Then we had Apex, which was god awful.
That's my favourite.
God awful. The plot is essentially this cat and mouse setup. What was that film that was out last year? The Hunt. Essentially, rich people pay to hunt down prey. They bring Bruce Willis in, who's like basically like a bit of a rogue, committed all of these crimes, and he is a bit of a challenge for them. He spends his whole time walking around in a forest,
gets high,
dawdling, gets high on berries. There's no sense of any kind of jeopardy for him at any point, not because he's like super hard and like ex-naval forces and all
this.
He's
just in a different place.
Purely just because he's literally nowhere near any danger at all. So I thought it was awful. And the effects, the green screen at the end, Claire, the green screen at the end. Awful.
So I really liked this one because I really like Neil McDonough, who is
I
the
knew
lead.
You were going to bring him up.
I love him. I think he's great. He was in all the CW Arrowverse shows. He was in Desperate Housewives. Done a lot of stuff, good and bad.
Well, he was in I Know Who Killed Me.
Oh yeah, he was. He was the dad.
I thought that's what you were going to mention.
No, I forgot.
You forgot.
That. Yeah, I did. But I said in that film, I just really like Neil McDonough because I really like him in all of the CW shows.
Oh, listen, he went ham. He was great.
And so I was really.
He delivered. He understood the assignment.
Yeah, he did. So all the scenes that he was in, I was like rooting for it. The scenes that he weren't in were absolute dog shit. I got really confused about the lore of the film because I was like, do they die in real life if they die in here? Because they don't seem that. Because Bruce gets them all to turn on each other, but they didn't really seem that bothered that all their friends were dead. And then at one point they randomly just invite a load of people from the real world in, and they're just like cannon fodder. And I was like, who is that willing to like go into a game just to be shot immediately? I was very confused. Yeah. But I like Neil McDonough, so it was one of the ups for me.
Fair. I think this really got to me in terms of the whole Bruce not being in the same room as anyone.
Yeah, this was the low.
This was an example of, in that video I mentioned, about how when he's reading his lines, he hasn't got any context of what he's responding to. So he just says them all in the same way.
Monotone.
And like
staring just off camera. Just off,
he's
not
got
quite
this
off.
Weird, like, knowing smirk that's kind of like jokey. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's just like
very strange
wryness, you know, when people are a bit like, you know, it's just all very strange. cosmic sin we are actually going to have to delve in a bit further with next week because it's on the bottom 100. I don't know how that got on the bottom 100, but none of this other shit did.
I think of the 8 films, it's the one most disturbing of being on the bottom 100. I do think it's the one that's the worst.
I can't believe that I have to do this one because it's the one that I remember the least.
Because it's the worst and it doesn't really have a plot and it's very confusing.
I'm going to attempt to explain the plot. We're only on 3 of 8 and I already lost the So the plot, what can I remember?
It's
something
set in space.
about aliens. Well, no, it is set on Earth, but
and it's set in the future.
Set in the future. There's aliens, there's like space missions, and then basically, you know, they're just monitoring for other life and all that jazz. They find it. It's a bit hostile, so it becomes a little bit of a shall we. The whole crux of the plot is the question of, do you preempt by attacking an unknown potential threat to exterminate the threat, or do you risk them attacking you? Right?
You've made that sound a lot better than
but that's what it's supposed to be about.
But with the production value of the late 90s Power Rangers TV show.
That's pretty spot on.
Which was made by Saban, and these are all made by Saban Films, so they might actually be the same production company. I don't know.
And they basically bring in Bruce Willis, who's like an ex-army guy that got kicked out because he's too ruthless and all this crap, and he used to date another person who's there, and they all have to go into space because, you know, it's a whole Armageddon situation where they apparently can't find anyone better, and they've got like these crazy like space things that means they can time jump, or I don't know, wormhole to an alien planet.
We've got a whole episode about it next week, Daisy. You're doing well. Move on.
Yeah, I'm moving on.
I can see your face dying.
The least said about that, the better. That one. It's because I can't remember it. Deadlock. Right, Deadlock I've just watched. Deadlock, above average for Bruce Willis.
Is that the water one?
Yes, so set on a dam. He's not marketed as the lead for this one, which I think he was the villain in this one. Really benefits from. He was the villain in this one. I thought it was a fantastic change of pace. Essentially, set on a dam. People come on, take people hostage, led by Bruce Willis. They open the gates, and essentially the threat is that they'll flood the town, city, whatever, unless he gets certain people in to question them about accidentally killing his son and then covering it up. And these people were police. That's it, really. And then there's a guy who's the lead guy. People have said it's Die Hard in a dam. There's a guy who's supposed to be hostage, but he's gone rogue and he wasn't supposed to be in that day. And he kind of basically saves everyone. But I think in terms of it being shot, it was almost like well made. Like they had steady cams for one.
This one seemed like it had
this one had some camera rigs, so we knew we were in business.
And it had scenes of multiple people in a room at the same time, not just random one shots sliced together.
Bruce Willis was clearly in the room with other people.
A rare treat.
So I think in summary, for that one, a thumbs up in context.
Yep.
Oh, we wouldn't recommend it, but
we had to watch them, so
Fortress was the one I watched the other day.
Michael Murray in.
He was great as a villain.
Yeah, he was hamming that. He knew his assignment. He was hamming that up. He was on the phone in his little waistcoat.
Yeah, great. Very well dressed. Jesse Metcalfe was also in it, and I think he did well with what he was given. He really gave it his all. The emotion was there. You know?
I wasn't sold on the plastic surgery bimbo Barbie Lara Croft sidekick girl.
Didn't she play his niece in a different film? Bruce Willis's niece,
and survive
I was like, please don't make her a love interest, because that's really confusing for me.
No, she was Jesse Metcalfe's love interest, but she ran around in like a sports bra and tiny shorts.
That was great.
All the other women are wearing full army gear.
It's just,
and she's the one that didn't die.
And somehow, it's just a classic situation of, oh no, my jacket. Oh,
But again, this is also the point in which I felt this was still the point in these films where they were still trying to make coherent stories that made sense. Because again, Bruce was still in some of these wider shots, and that like he was clearly in the room sometimes with some of the cast.
This one, I think the cast is some of the strongest. The story is probably the equally complex enough to be interesting, but also coherent enough.
Yeah.
So it's like a good balance between complex and coherent, like multi-layered or whatever. Like there was a through line. Him, obviously there was a reveal.
Yeah.
The plot unfolded.
It had Shannon Doherty from Charmed in, and I loved Charmed, so I enjoyed that.
But I thought it had Bruce's worst acting in. I really did. I think.
But this is why I feel like
the scene with Jesse Metcalfe.
This is the point in which I think, I don't know what order they were made in, but in my mind, the way that I've ordered him, I feel like this was his last time he
was barely
turned up. And then from then on, that's when it goes to the ones where he was never in the room and he's in a different screen recording them by himself. So I feel like this was his last time where he showed up, and he wasn't engaged anymore.
No.
But they are doing a sequel to this one, and I am slightly
there's a trilogy
excited.
planned, apparently.
I'm kind of excited about it.
Oh, God.
I really like Chad Michael's character. I love him playing a villain. He was great in Riverdale.
Oh, let's be honest, I'm going to watch it.
He played a cult leader. Daisy, do you know there are between 8 and 11 of these films planned for next year? For this current year, for 2022. 8 to 11 of them are going to be released.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore.
It's currently almost 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night, and Daisy is flagging. Claire is 5 glasses deep in whiskey and has the next 5 days off. Daisy, however, has started rubbing her eyes in quite a stressed way.
Yeah, I'm pretty stressed. I'm just tired. It didn't help that I had to watch the last one when I got home from work, cook dinner, wash up, and then settle in to talk about it for 3 hours. But, we do these things for you, the listeners. Moving on. Midnight in the Switchgrass. Now, I felt like this was a little bit of probably the most, one of these things is not like the others kind of vibe, in that this is more of a thriller than an action film. And it was very much not focused on Bruce Willis's character, whatever. Whereas the other ones tried to make him seem like he was in the film more than he was. I don't really feel like they even tried in this one, although he was on the poster. But this is essentially about uncovering someone who is a serial killer who is murdering prostitutes, basically, and also kidnapping young girls, which I thought was really interesting. I thought compared to some of the other ones that stuff that I'd watched, I was really intrigued by the plot. I thought is it Emil Hirsch? I thought he wasn't outstanding, but it was nice to watch someone, competent.
He's a good actor. Yeah, he's a good actor even when he's not outstanding. And that's like, I felt like this with a stronger director, just completely cut Bruce Willis out because he was completely unnecessary.
So pointless. And he
with a stronger
tone. Yeah, he took the tone completely off in the wrong direction.
Down, the tempo, everything, the pace.
He just made everything seem like a joke, and it wasn't a joke film at all. It was a serious, upsetting film.
We've all seen Emil Hirsch do wonderful things with the right script and the right director. We've seen Megan Fox do wonderful things with the right script and the right director, and they are the two leads in this film, no matter what the poster tells you. And I felt like they were both doing okay, and I feel like this one had the most promise. It kind of reminded me of an episode of like CSI or NCIS or that kind of thing. And that's also kind of what all these films are as well. They're Hallmark for men, and they're also like mid TV that doesn't really get made anymore because we only make prestige TV.
Like episodic. Like monster or serial killer of the week kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, really, I quite liked this one because it was based on a true story and was an interesting story.
And the guy who was the killer has also been in a few things as well. But I can't think who he is. I think he's a bit of a character actor.
Yeah.
Also, should be said, this is the film that Megan Fox met Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
And then we all had to experience that. So
strange.
The scene with them in together was not good. That should have got worse scream combo. Did that not?
That should have. Instead, Megan Fox got worst actress, which I don't think is deserved. Yeah. I would say as well, bringing up Emil Hirsch, he wrote the story for another one of these films. I can't remember which one, but at the end of one of them, it came up story by Emil Hirsch. So he's obviously at the camp. He goes to camp too.
Love that. It's all starting to make sense. It's just like Adam Sandler.
That's when I came up with the camp
This is like
film.
Adam
the camp
Sandler
idea.
camp, but that's like a mansion. This is
Yeah.
full on like scouts
In the woods. Yeah. But I think that's when the theory came full circle for me, because I was like, right, they're even writing the films for each other. I was like, they're all just a load of buds in the woods during pandemic, making some shit films, having some laughs, shooting some guns. Like they're
as long as they're having fun.
They're teenagers playing dress up is what these whole films are. And they get to hang out with Bruce. Like, I'd do it too.
Yeah, I imagine they're all like having the time of their life being in the same room as Bruce Willis. Well, maybe not the same room.
They used to be allowed to be in the same room as him.
So we've got 2 more to go. So the next one is Out of Death, which is a really strange title. This is, I think, one of Bruce's better performances. He's in it a lot more.
But it's one of his strongest I'm clearly not in the room with anyone else performances.
Yes, other than when he's in the woods with the main girl in that one.
But that's only like 3 scenes. The most
okay, so
he's
not in it. I feel like maybe this is mid then. This isn't his worst, but it's not his best. Essentially a woman, a hiker who is taking her dad's ashes to, I don't know, the top of a hike trail, happens to see a corrupt cop shoot dead her drug. Well, yeah, but like, yeah, essentially he's dealing her drugs and she's sending them. No, she's giving him the drugs.
Drug runner.
Distributor.
Drug runner. Distributor. Yes.
Distributor. Kills him dead, and then she witnesses it, so then she gets hunted, and then Bruce happens to be staying in a nearby cabin, and then happens upon, I don't know, something dodgy, and then decides because he's an ex-cop he's gonna fix it, and turns out all of the local police force are corrupt, and then the niece, who is Bimbo Lara Croft in the other one, she gets tangled up in it because she's taken as a hostage, but it's very much a cat and mouse kind of vibe.
The deaths in this one, I felt like this one had the most fun with itself. I felt like
this I actually really liked the bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't think they were particularly
having fun. They were cartoony, villainy, but in a good way.
They were like the cats, the cat and the fox in Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? They're kind of just like hamming it up.
Isn't this the one with the great coke shot where she like shoots him and the coke explodes and she's all like, "Oh no!"
They're like these all dastardly villains. And they're all having. She's got like a proper southern drawl, and like there's just a bit. They're a bit idiotic. They're a bit like don't know any better, and they're having their strings pulled by the puppet master, who's like. Her brother, the younger brother of one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
he's like the police chief, he's running for mayor,
and he's in at least three of these films. That guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes he has a moustache, sometimes he doesn't. And then
the last one is Survive the Game, which didn't really have anything to do with the game, and I was confused by the title.
Its UK name is Killing Fields,
which makes a bit more sense because they are running around some fields.
And they're doing a lot of killing.
This is another Chad Michael Murray one?
This is another Chad Michael Murray one, but he hasn't really given much to do here.
Oh, God, no. So... He is sad because his wife died. He is
but hold on. His daughter died as well, and he never talks about that. He only ever talks about his wife. And then at the end he goes, "Oh, and my daughter died too."
But I love that then they do this big flashback where you find out how his wife and daughter died, and it's because the daughter dropped a bunny rabbit, and while controlling the car, he just completely turns around to pick up the bunny rabbit like a fucking moron.
But why in films is it always that? It's always that. It's always this.
There was another person in the car. I mean, in fairness, I've definitely like Leno, but I look at the road. I don't completely turn around. Car driver. I know car driver. We get cocky, but it was just the way that he spent the whole film being like, my wife, she is dead, and then you're like, she died over a purple stuffed bunny rabbit that the kid wasn't even crying about. Mate, what is wrong with you?
I know. I'm not gonna lie. This one, I was on my phone on the last third. Every other one I've paid attention to because I forced myself.
Oh no. I did 200 levels of Gardenscapes, which is basically like Canyon Crush. 200 levels while watching these movies.
Oh no, I paid attention to them properly, which
I
is
paid
probably.
attention, but like
Oh
my
no, I
brain was
can't.
so
I
my
can't
brain was
do.
so unstimulated that
Yeah,
I just
I
needed to move the pretty colours into space.
I had my fidget cube out for most of it, to be honest.
That was
But this one, I don't remember what happened at the end. But
So this one's
everyone
really
just
stupid.
there was just a big
because
fight, basically.
It starts off with a gunfight, and one of the police officers runs away and ends up at Chad Michael Murray's cabin in the woods that has no Wi-Fi, no phones, and no connection to the outside world. The people that are chasing him have a big connection of people who chase him to the house, and for some reason have taken Bruce Willis hostage, and just have Bruce Willis hostage in the back of a car, and then they're in Chad Michael Murray's house, and then it's this other guy and Chad Michael Murray running around the field for ages, and yet somehow they manage to outsmart a team of 10 people.
Yeah. So basically, some people witness a crime. The other, well, there's a sting, and then someone gets shot, and then because they've seen the crime, then the people who did the crime try and kill the people that saw the crime, but the people that saw the crime are actual police officers. And then the farmer gets involved because fake Harley Quinn and Joker are in his farm.
Why was she dressed as Harley Quinn?
Because the men love to see it.
It was so distracting.
Well, it's just you could have done everything, but you had to put the little heart under your eye, like
it's so
really.
All right, Daisy, you look like you are flagging, so I'm going to quick fire the next films at you because you are suffering, and you've already suffered through 22 films. So we have not talked about Dangerous, which is basically, in my opinion, one of these Bruce Willis films, just not with Bruce Willis in it. Had Mel Gibson
just with
instead.
Scott Eastwood instead,
and Mel Gibson.
And Mel Gibson. What was interesting about this one? Scott Eastwood's nominated for actor. Is Mel Gibson nominated as well?
No.
Oh, is that the whole thing is that this guy who's an ex-criminal, his brother dies. He goes to the funeral. Turns out his brother is like tied up in some dodgy shit that he also used to be involved in, and then there's bad guys, taking people hostage. Like the whole shtick, what we've been talking about this whole time with the other ones, which was why we think it should be part of the Bruce Willis stuff. The thing with the performance is that he is technically a sociopath. He doesn't experience emotions like neurotypical people do. So he's supposed to take medication, and he has Mel Gibson as his therapist, so no chance of any kind of resolution there. But so it makes sense that his acting is wooden, because it's not supposed to be. I thought it made sense, and then as it sort of evolved that he had those problems, I was like, interesting, this is a really interesting way to go. Then of course they do nothing with it, and then all of a sudden when he's off his meds, he's like crazy Joker, like, I've got a machine gun, and it's just,
and once again the ex-army man can take on 20 bumbling buffoons with only one gun, because that's how these films go.
So there's that. And Mel Gibson is doing a bit of a Bruce Willis, where he's only in one room and not talking to it. He's talking to everyone on the phone, so he's never in the room.
Do you think that was his real house?
Nah. Well, he might have been on house arrest. So
just for the epitome of lazy, do you think that was actually his house? He didn't even leave the home.
Maybe, just maybe.
All right. Next film we haven't spoken about, for worst supporting actor, Ben Affleck in The Last Duel.
I loved this film. Yay! This film has no business being anywhere near the Razzies, and I'm quite disturbed that it's got nowhere near the Oscars either.
So I saw this film for the first time in September at Venice Film Festival, which was the world premiere. I was very excited to go and see that. I then also got to go to the UK premiere and see it again. And then I also watched it. So I've seen this film 3 times in the last 6 months. I adore it. It was one of my top films of 2021. How the fuck was Jodie Comer not even nominated for a fucking BAFTA? What the fuck?
No idea.
Disgusting. I am on the record from the first time I saw it as not liking Ben Affleck's performance. Ben Affleck is doing a different film to the others. I have been told by other people why it works. On rewatches, it's jarred me less and less.
Why does it work? Is that an offline conversation?
No, just because Ben Affleck is there as a comedy relief and to show how ridiculous the monarchy is.
Well, it's like the absurdity thing, right?
Yeah, the absurdity, whereas I really didn't like it because it detracted me from the seriousness of the rest of it. But the more I've watched it, the less it bugs me. But like my review from Venice is on record as saying I thought he was the weakest part of the film. That being said, what the fuck is he doing in this category? Why? What are you all... I mean, I'm pleased that the Razzie people that vote in the Razzies watched the movie. That makes me happy, because apparently no one did, because it's nominated for nothing else. It's currently on Disney Plus. You should fucking watch it.
That's why I watched
brilliant.
it.
I'm really glad you liked it too, because it's a wonderful film, and it was in my top 15 of last year, and
Again,
I adored
it's just one of those ones where they're like, oh, this is something that seems a bit jarring, so it means it's bad.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, and as someone, like I say, who's rewatched it a couple of times, it actually is much less jarring once you've watched it once. So yeah. Also in Worst Supporting Actor, Nick Cannon in The Misfits. I'd like to go on record and say I fucking hated The Misfits. It was like if you'd taken a CBBC show from the last 10 years, gave it a larger budget, and then made me suffer through it. It gave CBBC
It was like a
vibes.
CBBC show.
The scene at the end where they're all at the pool and they clink their little glasses, I was like, this is just like Miami 7. It's probably... I'm watching S Club 7 stuff because I'm an S-Pod thing. I'm going back for a second episode. But this was like if they gave them money, and the S Club 7 movies are better than this fucking movie. I hated this movie.
Double. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Scene double.
Yeah.
I liked it because it was like a CBBC film. And at that point, I'd seen so much crap. I was just enjoying like fast-paced editing and like fun music and like something that didn't star Bruce Willis.
See, you had the opposite reaction to me, that I'd watched so many Bruce Willis films that then when I watched these films, I was like, no, you had money, so you should be better. These Bruce Willis films were made on a shoestring. They have an excuse to be shit. You should be better because you had money.
I think the thing with Nick Cannon is, and I don't think he's the only nomination, right? The other thing was screenplay. I get the screenplay thing. It was a little bit... The whole thing was a bit... It was meant to be a bit Robin Hood. It had Pierce Brosnan as a con man and everything like that. And the screenplay, like some of the dialogue was just trying so hard.
Yeah.
But I just enjoyed it for what it was. Nick Cannon is meant to be a bit like the narrator of the thing, which I don't think it really needed. And also he's just in a vest all the time, and I don't really understand why.
No, he has a load of weird costumes.
Everyone looks
weird
really good. Like
things.
Jamie, is it Jamie Chung? I can't remember what her name is.
Oh, I can't remember her name is.
She's gorgeous, and she's like this.
Oh, Jamie Chung, yeah.
Man-hating assassin. She's got big daddy issues and all of this, and like it's not necessarily a badly written character. It's just how people write women.
It's a very basic character.
Very basic, but I just like her. So
I like her.
And then the other guy had absolutely nothing to do. A sidelined Asian character.
He falls over a lot and looks cute. I wondered if he was like maybe an Asian, like
maybe
from one
like
of the
a pop star or
things.
something, maybe a K-pop star potentially.
Yeah, because they kept giving him moments where he swooshed his hair as if like that was a signature thing, and I didn't get it. And I wondered if maybe he is like a star somewhere else.
But like, yeah, Nick Cannon was meant to be like the lead of the Misfits and whatnot, and meant to be this like I don't know, charismatic like funny like con man, but you never actually see him do anything.
No, and he had a weird humour about him that the rest of them didn't seem to. The rest of them seemed to be playing it very serious, and so like, I think he was meant to be the funny guy.
He was meant to be the break the full fall guy.
Yeah, really didn't work for me. The costumes, like his little fancy dress things, really didn't work
like everyone.
for me. Really
no, wait! When he's pretending to be the safety inspector, I did find that funny.
I can't tell you what was offensive about this film, but I felt like this film was super racist and super offensive a number of times.
Oh, well, he did, dress up as a sheikh, so...
Yeah, it was just... Oh, and also, as someone, I loved the bit where they're, like, in Abu Dhabi, and they clearly are fucking not in Abu Dhabi whatsoever. I was like, I've been to Abu Dhabi.
Never been.
Don't... It just made me laugh. I was like, you were on a soundstage, because then he gets in the car and they go for like the fast drive around Abu Dhabi, and I'm like, oh, that you got the money to make this film from that car company who just did a B crew in Abu Dhabi where they drove a man around in that car, and you were on a green screen.
And they were like, we get to have James Bond in the car. Wonderful.
it just made me chuckle.
Yeah, this is just a bit of a messy, straight to prime.
Yeah, it's a CBBC
thing.
CBBC.
But I think you spot on with the CBBC thing. Yeah.
I hated it.
Fair enough.
House of Gucci, father, son, House of Gucci.
Father, son, House of Gucci. Oh my god.
I took myself to the cinema to see this, and it was really traumatic.
Lady Gaga and Adam Driver getting it on in a in a cabin in a car park, a port cabin. That's what I'm looking for. Didn't know I needed it. Well, I didn't. I did know.
It
that
was
I
so
needed
aggressive.
It. I did know that I needed it. Actually, I needed it very badly, and I got it, and I'm very happy now.
Okay, so
really loved this film.
Yeah, so we loved the film. The film is not nominated though.
It is Jared Leto
as Paolo Gucci,
who is the worst.
And also in the screen combo for Jared Leto and either his £17 latex lace, his geeky clothes, or his ridiculous accent.
So it's basically just a double nomination.
Yeah. So you loved the film, you loved Lady Gaga, you loved Adam Driver. I loved the film, I loved Lady Gaga, I loved Adam Driver. Where are your feelings on these nominations?
I hate Jared Leto.
Okay.
I think he's tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the problem is that I'm going to reference something that I don't know if many people have seen. But if you have seen it, you'll be like, and you've seen both of these things, you'll be like, oh my god, this is so spot on. There's a sketch show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave. I'll send the sketch to you after. And it is a focus group for cars, and everything's going fine. And then there's this old Italian guy in the corner. They're all saying, oh, a sporty look or air conditioning. And he's like, a good steering wheel that doesn't whiff out of the window when I'm driving. And that is basically Jared Leto watched that sketch and recreated it in this film. And I'm going to send it to you afterwards. And I've actually seen famous people on Letterboxd, like actors and comedians. Sorry, it's one guy, actor/comedian. Right. His whole review was Jared Leto watched the I Think You Should Leave sketch and said, got it.
So you're in support of this nomination?
Yeah, but I also think it worked in the film, so
thank you, because this is my problem.
I just don't know why they had to pick him. Like, it could have been anyone else and then not in makeup. And
this is exactly my issue.
They just give him what he wants. He wants to be eccentric, and they just give him what he wants.
I don't understand why everyone is so outraged about Jared Leto's accent when Lady Gaga and Adam Driver and every other fucking actor is also doing a ridiculous Italian accent.
True.
Jared Leto wasn't the only one doing the stupid accent.
It did feel sillier though, but it might have been because he had a fake face on.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't get why everyone is picking so much on Jared Leto, acting like he is the only one in this film doing the ridiculous I am Italian, because they're all fucking doing it.
Look at my ideas.
I was like, why? And then I felt
I think it's just because he looked silly as well.
So I felt like he did what he was assigned to do. I felt like he was there to be the comic relief. I felt sorry for his character. I bought into his character.
I just don't see why it had to be Jared Leto.
And I agree with that. I don't understand why he was cast. I don't have as much of a problem with him as you, probably because Team Me really loved him. So but
Team Me really loved him.
And it turns out he's an
absolute... he there's like murmurs so that he has a cold and shit.
Yeah, so it's all sorts of nonsense. And he seems to not be that. He seems to win the Oscar and now not be a good actor.
And he loves method acting when it comes to absolute arseholes.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I had no problem with his performance. I felt it worked for in the film. I thought the film was fun. I felt like he knew exactly what he was there to do and did it well. And I felt like they got the performance they wanted out of him. Yeah. I think the backlash to his performance, as opposed to no backlash to anyone else's performances, is ridiculous. I feel like if you're going to criticise him, you have to criticise the whole cast.
In which case, I have a suggestion. It shouldn't be a nomination for his acting. It should be a bad nomination for casting and makeup.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because I don't know why he was cast in this. I just would have cast someone else. Yeah. I don't get the purpose of, other than because they thought maybe they were going to get some makeup awards and they wanted to do the big Oscar baity transformation.
But this it's like the whole like
He
Colin
just felt
Farrell
miscast.
penguin thing, right? I haven't seen Batman, but
I liked that line. I
but
thought that
why do you have to change someone's face so much?
Yeah,
to
I don't get why.
just
But
cast someone else.
Colin, that performance is good. I do enjoy that.
Okay.
But yeah,
maybe that was a thing where he was like really bought into this character, and he was like, I really want to do it, and they're like, if you do it, we're gonna have to change your face because you're a good-looking Irishman.
Yeah.
So, whereas this, it's just like, of all the people, why him?
It just felt like weird casting. Yeah, so I've just found, because I saw the film much later than the backlash, much after it came out, and I found when watching it, I was like, I don't know why everyone's complaining about his accent, because they are all doing ridiculous accents.
So here's my theory. Gaga, Adam Driver, Al Pacino, it makes sense. Even if their accents are bad, like, they look the part and they feel like they are the Gucci's in the 80s. And I think when it comes to, like, even when you saw, like, red carpet pictures, Jared Leto just didn't seem to fit in.
Yeah, I think it was bad casting.
You know that they weren't friends with him, that you just know.
Yeah. I thought it was very bad casting. I cried in this film. I cried about Paolo. I thought it was really sad at the end when they said he died in poverty. That made me genuinely really sad, because they were real people and they were really his family, and all he wanted was to be involved and wanted someone to tell him he had good ideas, and they abused him and they used him, and he loved his dad and he loved his family.
Was so I really despised the Lady Gaga's character arc. But that was the whole point.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliantly done. It was the kind of film that we don't really get enough of anymore. So I thought it was exactly what I wanted at the time. But yeah, I just found specifically that I get hating Jared Leto as a person. There does seem like a wealth of reasons to do so. But I found it very strange that so much of the ritual around this was about him, when I didn't think he was doing anything different to what the whole rest of the cast were doing.
Fair enough.
And I just really liked the film, so I was surprised, because I thought it was a lot of fun.
The film.
Yeah, we were big Ridley Scott fans this year. Good filmmaker, that guy. Who would have known?
Who would have known, indeed.
Okay, Tom and Jerry nominated for worst screen combo, which we mentioned earlier. What a fucking joke!
Which is just straight up bullshit, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
How could you? A Tale as Old as Time, those two.
I quite liked the Tom and Jerry movie. Oh, it's also nominated for worst prequel, remake, rip-off, or sequel. I thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine. I watched it last night. I thought it was really interesting, the storyline that they went with, basing it in a hotel, and like having this human character who's Chloe Grace Moretz, who I absolutely adore.
We need to get her better films.
Yeah, that I was shrugging. In agreement. I thought it was a really interesting storyline to go with, that kind of worked for putting their shtick into like a real life scenario, but there's a lot of people complaining about too much humans, not enough Tom and Jerry, and I do kind of get that.
And I'd get that. I think this nomination is stupid. I think they have great combo. I also really weirdly found myself heavily rooting for Chloe Grace Moretz's character and the bride to run away together.
Yeah.
Right, was it not just me? They had such chemistry.
That was massive queer baiting, if you ask me.
Thank you. I was like, the tension those two women had.
Other.
Yeah. I was like, is it just me?
And she married Colin Jost?
No. I mean, Scarlett Johansson married Colin Jost, so clearly the guy is packing. But, like, the two women had such chemistry. I was like, are we going places? Really? Is this where everyone
I
hates
genuinely thought that was... But no. Hook, line and sinker, I fell for that one.
Yeah, me too.
But no, I thought it was fun. I think it's interesting with these kids' films, right? As we've said before, it's like, who is this really for? Because the kids that are going to watch Tom and Jerry are not going to care about the rest of the plot, which is like 80% of the plot. I do understand what they're going for,
workplace dynamics.
setting it in like a real world scenario. But
I did like the elephants. I
liked
what they played around with
all of the animals were animated, which is great.
Yeah.
I just really don't know who the audience for this was, because I feel like really it was us.
Yeah.
You know, like, people that have grown up with the cartoon who like films now. Yeah. They're the only people.
What 8-year-old cares about nepotism in a hotel?
No. So I don't know. I feel like it's one of those films that's like, we need to give it a plot that the parents will kind of care about, so that the kids just watch the animated bits. But then I reckon both parties would just feel a bit shafted by it.
Yeah.
But it worked for us because we like various aspects about films that just happen to be cobbled together.
And we like looking at Chloe Grace Moretz longingly staring at a hot woman.
We do.
Okay, next up in the worst screenplay, Twist. This film made me be embarrassed to be from England. I genuinely wanted to give my passport back by the end of this movie.
I don't even want to open. I've had my eyes closed for about 10 seconds since hearing that name of the film, and I can't even bear to open them. Awful. Cringe. I've never seen a film so Sky One original in my life. I've never seen a film that clearly was conceptualized in 2012. And
2000?
No. It had DJ Fresh written all over it. I mean, it didn't help that Rita Ora was in it. So, but this was that period when I was in sixth form, where it was all like drum and bass came back into fashion, and it was all like big pop art graffiti, streetwear was fashionable. Like, it was a bit of an early noughties revival, but for the early 2010s. And like, yeah, Rita Ora was big, Tiny Temper, that kind of thing.
It was
like
the Steve
bass
Buscemi Hello Kids meme in the form of a movie.
They think, if that's what they think kids are like now, oh my god. It was, like, people make jokes. I can't remember what sitcom it is, but they're like, they made a joke about the kids being in Annie because, oh no, is it in Friends? Yeah, right, okay, you can cut this out. But in Friends, when Ross and Phoebe are talking about her being on the street, and she's like, oh, you should write something on your food so it doesn't get taken. He's like, what? Get your hands off my grub. And then Chandler's like, when you imagine Phoebe on the street, is she surrounded by the entire cast of Annie? Is what I'm thinking about. It's how grown-ups think kids speak, and it's so wrong.
I just love that a bunch of adults sat in a room and went, you know what we need? A youthful remake of Twist. Yes, that's what the children will want.
I've got it. An urban remake.
Urban, yes, urban. We'll have one black woman in it, but she's not super black because that might offend people.
Oh, it's just... This was probably one of the worst of all of them.
It made me offended to be English, and it reminded me of why for years I wouldn't watch English movies.
And it had David Williams in, so it made it way worse.
This is what for a really long time it felt like all the English film industry was putting out, the British film industry was putting out, and British film industry has come such a long way since then, or maybe I've just opened my eyes to it, a bit of both probably, and this just felt like a step all the way back, and it was very offensive, and I hate it.
It's just like a caricature of what people think East London is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not from East London, but...
It made Tracy Beaker seem like Hitchcock.
Oh my god, yeah. Big Tracy Beaker vibes. Yeah, it was awful.
Are there any more films we have not ticked off? Maybe one. Every last one of them, the other Taryn Manning movie. It's another in the category of the Bruce Willis Hall of Fame, but Bruce isn't in it. Was there anyone big and famous in this one?
The guy from Jaws. The main guy.
I've only seen Jaws once.
Like, the I can't... Oh, I'm so tired.
A man who attacked a shark was in it.
So, what is his name?
I don't know.
Richard Dreyfuss. He's a huge actor.
Richard Dreyfuss is a huge actor, I do know the name.
So
he was the big star in this one.
This was really, really poorly made. This one didn't
even make sense.
This was a revenge thriller action thing where some guy doesn't know where his daughter is. She's a drug addict. He hunts down the people who think, are involved. And it's one of those ones where it's just like, wow, you've literally found a unused bar and tried to make it look like a strip club, and it looks like the most decrepit, awful place in the world. It looks like one of those strip
clubs where you put the pound coins in the pint glasses.
And it's just like the middle of the day, and it's just awful, and that it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like really... It's supposed to give off the vibe that the sun is like like, what's the word I'm looking for? That the son is basically like inherited it. He's like privileged, and he just hangs out at the strip club all day and like vapes, and he's basically involved in this girl overdosing, and he's just a privileged white arsehole kind of thing. And he looks about 12, so that doesn't add up.
It gave big A-level media studies vibes.
Yeah, it was shit. I can't give any more. That's all I can say.
It was. And
but we're not focusing on the film anyway. We're focusing on Taryn Manning's performance, and she was
barely in it, but she was terrible.
She's bad. She's just taking the essence of the Pennsatucky character, making it a stereotype caricature.
But a rich Pennsatucky. Imagine if Pennsatucky had money.
Yeah, and just doesn't understand it. Either it's edited terribly, or she doesn't understand how it's all one note. And also there was some weird incestuous vibes with her and the brother.
That's what I was just about to say. Isn't it meant to be her brother? Because it definitely felt incestuous.
They went to kiss at one point, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I rewound it because I thought she said our son's upstairs, and then I heard him call her sister, and I rewound it. I was like, oh no, your son rather than our son. I was like, there's defo like incest vibes here.
Just why even put that in to make them seem more evil? I don't know.
Why? Because couldn't they have just been married?
I don't know.
It was very strange.
I bet they thought it added more texture to the screenplay.
I mean, that's it. That's all the films. That's 22 films.
Was that everything?
22 films. 22
oh my
films.
God. Wow.
22 films.
Wait, no, we haven't done Vanquish.
What the fuck was Vanquish nominated? Oh,
Ruby Rose.
Fucking Ruby Rose.
This was terrible too. This was
nominated
really bad.
Nominated for Worst Actress, Ruby Rose in Vanquish.
I think actually this might be one of the worst made ones. The editing. I'm going to be sick. The editing was disgusting.
My most hated trope
the flashbacks.
in any movie is a movie that uses a flashback of something that happened in the movie.
Yes.
Use flashbacks all you want, but if it happened within the hour and a half runtime, I don't need a flashback.
And we also
because
don't
I
need
watched
to see
the
whole scene again.
But they would do it in this within like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
She had the whole conversation with him, and then she goes on the bike and leaves, and then it replays the conversation that she just had while she's going on the bike. It's like, why? Could you not afford a score? Like,
yeah, it was bad.
Was terrible.
Morgan Freeman, what is you doing, babes?
I've never been a big fan of Ruby Rose, so it didn't surprise me that I thought she was awful in this.
I think the thing is they've tried to make her an action lead because they thought it would be quite subversive, and
she's been trying to do the action stuff as well. Like,
yeah, I mean, she was good in John Wick.
Yeah,
but she was a mute. Yeah. So you can't really compare that.
I hated her in Orange Is the New Black.
I
really annoying.
I thought she was fine.
I didn't mind her in Batwoman, but I always felt like she was the weakest part of Batwoman. I liked the supporting characters in Batwoman, and she left Batwoman for genuine reasons. It does sound like she was actually quite abused on the set of Batwoman, and so like credit to her for speaking out about it. It sounds like she did have a fucking awful time on the set. So like, much as I don't rate her as an actress, like, support, shout out, good for her. But since leaving Batwoman and being replaced with a different actress, she hasn't been missed. Like, because the supporting cast were the best thing about that show, not her. I find her weak.
But I also don't think that she had any chance in hell of doing a good job here.
There was nothing to work with. Nothing to work with.
It was just badly
written, badly
everything was
plotted.
bad.
I have to
everything was bad.
You have to. It's Everything's Not Awesome. That's the Lego Movie 2 song. Everything's Not Awesome.
Oh, I still haven't watched that. Sorry.
They have a song where it's Everything's Not Awesome, and it's okay. But I wonder if the bad editing was because the film was shit and they were trying to fill out the time. But I'm like, do you know what? Maybe a movie can just be 70 minutes. Maybe you don't need to fucking pad it out to make it an hour and 40.
This is
if you don't have enough stuff.
Yeah, this was another big shot actor. Well, not in Big Shot, legend, in a room doing one day's work. Not even that.
At least in this one, him being in a room was at least written into the plot.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what weighs up at the moment, but this was shit. That's all I know.
I feel like the actors that were older when we were younger had better contracts, and so they were getting paid out, and they didn't have to keep working like this. Whereas
They
these
didn't
actors
have to do this. They didn't have to
didn't have
stoop
to
so
degrade
low.
themselves. And all these actors probably never paid their taxes and are worried about IRS. So,
Well,
yeah.
we all know that one of them did from our Jack and Jill episode. Right.
Yeah.
So that's that. Can you tell that we're at the absolute end of our tether at this point? No.
One of us is. I'm fine. I've perked up. I've gone higher.
So I feel like maybe we should just quickly run through the categories and pick who we think is the winner here.
Okay, so worst picture: Diana the Musical, Infinite, Karen, Space Jam, Woman in the Window.
Karen.
I'm going Infinite.
I can't believe that. I can't believe you've just done this.
I really hated Infinite.
I can't believe you're saying that that's a better made film than Karen.
I found it less annoying.
Moving on.
Worst director: Christopher Ashley for Diana the Musical, Stephen Chbosky for Dear Evan Hansen, Coke Daniels for Karen, Rennie Harley for The Misfits, and Joe Wright for The Woman in the Window.
Coke Daniels for Karen.
Rennie Harlin for The Misfits.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe this.
Daisy's about to hang up the call. Worst actor: Scott Eastwood, Dangerous as Dylan D. Foster, Roe Hartranft, Diana the Musical as Prince Charles, LeBron James, Space Jam and New Legacy as himself, Ben Platt, Dear Evan Hansen as Evan Hansen, and Mark Wahlberg, Infinite as Evan McCauley and Heinrich Treadway.
Now, I'm going to say LeBron James, not because I just didn't want to do that again, but more so that it feels harsh because he isn't an actor and he did an okay job, but he also isn't an actor. So he didn't act very well.
And I am obviously going for Mark Wahlberg in Infinite as Evan McCauley and Heinrich Treadway.
I just don't understand why you hated it so much.
I really hated it. Okay, worst actress. Amy Adams, The Woman in the Window as Dr. Anna Fox, Sheena DeWall in Diana the Musical as Princess Diana, Megan Fox, Midnight in the Switchgrass as Rebecca Lombardi, Taryn Manning as Karen Drexler, and Ruby Rose Vanquish as Victoria.
This is hard between Taryn Manning and Ruby Rose.
It is.
Do you know what, though? I'm actually going to go with Ruby Rose on this one because I think Taryn Manning actually harnessed the Unhinged. And although it wasn't fantastic, it worked for it. Ruby Rose was just bland. So.
Yeah, Taryn Manning is giving a bad performance in a bad film, but you know that's the performance she was asked to give. Whereas Ruby Rose in Vanquish is just not giving a good performance. I agree. Worst supporting actress: Ben Affleck in The Last Duel as Count Pierre de Anglon, Nick Canning in The Misfits as Ringo, Mel Gibson in Dangerous as Dr. Alderwood, Gareth Keegan in Diana the Musical as James Hewitt, and Jared Leto in House of Gucci as Paolo Gucci.
I'm going to go with Gareth Keegan purely just because it doesn't feel like anywhere near a role compared to the other ones.
Sad.
So he's not bad, but I feel like even Mel Gibson had something to do. And brought something to the plot. And I know obviously the character was part of the plot, but it's just like I don't remember it. Like he didn't really give me anything, so sorry, Gareth.
I'm going Nick Cannon in The Misfits.
Fair enough.
Worst supporting actress: Amy Adams in Dear Evan Hansen as Cynthia Murphy, Sophie Kixon in Infinite as Nora Brightman, Erin Davey in Diana the Musical as Camilla Parker Bowles, Judy Kay, Diana the Musical as both Queen Elizabeth II and Barbara Cartland, and Taryn Manning in every last one of them as Maggie.
Absolutely Taryn Manning. Like, just god-awful.
Completely agree. So I agree with you on women, just not on men. Worst screen combo: any klutzy cast member and any lamely lyricised or choreographed musical number, Diana the Musical. LeBron James and any Warner cartoon character or Time Warner product he dribbles on in Space Jam and New Legacy.
It's the only thing keeping me going
and
right
either
now.
his 17-pound latex vest, his geeky clothes, or his ridiculous accent in House of Gucci. Ben Platt and any other character who acts like Platt singing 24/7 is normal in Dear Evan Hansen, and Tom and Jerry, aka Itchy and Scratchy in Tom and Jerry.
I'm going to say, and not because of his performance necessarily, but what we discussed about Jared Leto. It was all of the gunk and the faff that made him look silly. So if we're going to really think about the actual combination of which they've listed, I'm going to go for that one.
I'd like to do a write-in ballot that the worst screen combo was all of these nominations, because none of these screen combos were bad, and this was a stupid category. But if I
also, I think my actual nomination would be Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, considering they're actually a couple.
Oh, mine would be Tara Manning and the bloke from every last one of them and their weird incest vibes.
And her brother. Yeah.
Why the weird incest vibes? Worst.
Why you gotta be incest?
Why you gotta go there? Worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel. Karen, an inadvertent remake of Cruella. Again, how? What? Why not be a ripoff of a real life thing or a ripoff of a meme? It's a ripoff of many things, but not Cruella. Space Jam, a new legacy. Tom and Jerry, Twist, rap remake of Oliver Twist, and The Woman in the Window.
It's not rap. It's got no rap in it whatsoever.
And a rip-off of Rear Window.
Absolutely Twist all day, every day. Shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Weird. It's not a rap remake, but it is an urban, as you said, an urban remake. And absolutely.
But it's Twist. Not a... It's...
urban in terms of British
that's like
media
a whole...
people. Yeah. Worst screenplay: Diana the Musical, Karen, The Misfits, Twist, or The Woman in the Window.
Twist, because of that god awful dialogue.
Concur.
Get in the bin.
Get in the bin. Weren't they in bins at one point?
Yeah, I think so. Stay there.
And the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2020.
Wait, what did you pick? Did you agree?
I agreed. Twist.
Okay.
Where possible, it's Twist. Twist is probably the only film I liked less than Infinite.
Oh my god. So Twist should actually be worst picture then.
It wasn't nominated, was it? It wasn't an option. It wasn't an option.
It's our choice though, really, isn't it?
Worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie: American Siege, Apex, Cosmic Sin, Deadlock, Fortress, Midnight in the Switchgrass, Out of Death, or Survive the Game. Can you remember which one's which?
This is tough. I'm going to say... Oh, it's a toss-up between two. It's a toss-up between Apex and Fortress. Apex, because he just seems to be...
my two favourites.
Not performance, though. Right?
No, yeah. Performance-wise, yeah, you're
like,
correct.
Fortress, I just feel like he... Like, and I'm sorry if he is ill, but, like, it would make a lot of sense because he just seemed to not even be understanding what was going on around him. Like, Jesse Metcalfe was having this really, like, big emotional moment about, like, him, like, you know, this big company and it needs him to help and all this. And he just had this wry smirk on his face and was, like, laughing at shit. It's just really weird. And then, what was the other one that I said?
Apex.
Apex, like, again, like, saying the lines to him and him saying them back as if he has no context of the whole conversation. It's literally someone going, say this line, and he says it however he wants to.
We also forgot to mention that
and
one.
Then
there's a weird
and then
AI
he does this
girl.
At the end.
But there's also, like, the weird AI girl that just talks to him as a weird, like, Hunger Games voiceover. But she's never in the room with him.
I'm going to... I mean, I thought it at the time, so I'm going to go for it. Fortress. I literally sat there and watched him and I went, this is his worst.
I'm going with Apex. Despite I really enjoyed the film for Neil McDonough, it was definitely Bruce Willis's weakest performance. Watching him stumble round a field pretending to be high on berries and like being high.
But the music with it as well was like bumbling. It was like
it was strange. It was a strange, very strange. And I just wanted to watch Neil McDonough kill a load of people. I would have liked Neil McDonough to just be in The Hunt. I enjoyed The Hunt. But there we go. There we have it, Daisy. 3 hours of recording. It is 11:30 at night, and you know what we still have to do?
Done. Our top 3.
Yeah, we do.
But it's fine, because I don't really feel like we need to do a hell of a lot of explaining on these ones if we don't want to. No. But I'm really excited, although I don't sound it in my voice, for this idea that I came up with. Because we were like, do we pick our favourites of the Razzies? No, that's really difficult because we don't have any favourites. Do we pick our favourite films that are nominated for Oscars? No, Daisy hasn't seen any of those. Do we just pick our favourites? Feels a bit far from what we're talking about. How about the films that we loved that you all hated? So we've come up with a few to go for. I have a feeling that none of them are going to be the same.
Cool.
Because I didn't watch that many, and I don't think we have that similar tastes, to be honest. So I'm happy to just give off my 3.
Go for it.
Okay, not in any particular order. This one is probably the least... not the least divisive, but I think it got a bit more of an average score than the other two did, is I Care a Lot. So quite a lot of people really it didn't sit well with them, and I get that, but I kind of liked that.
I really liked it.
I really liked Rosamund Pike. She was detestable. Everyone in it's detestable, and I think some people just
Eliza
can't.
Gonzalez.
Some people just can't get on with films where they can't relate to anyone, or if the only person they can relate to is suffering, and that's a hard watch. But I thought, yeah, it was really interesting. Thought it was really dynamically made. But I know that it was a bit controversial because of the content, so that's one of them. My second one is Venom 2.
I've still not seen Venom 1.
It was a load of shit, but I was in hysterics because I really have this like penchant for puppets and weird voices and like things that are a little bit cutesy in weird ways, and I just feel like Venom's like that, where it's like silly voice, silly conversations, silly comments. Like he gets like a postcard, but there's got like tiny writing on it, and it's all filled with tiny writing, and then you just hear Venom go, "Are you a pen pal with ants?" And it's just the most stupid thing ever. And you literally, my boyfriend didn't even hear him say it because it was just so throwaway, and I was like wheezing in the cinema about that. So no, not a great film, but funny. I enjoyed it. I had fun. And the last one, which is a little bit more of an obvious one, I think, is Old.
I haven't seen it. Please don't spoil it. I will watch it eventually one day.
M. Night Shyamalan's always going to divide people. I like him because I like him being outlandish, and I think his outlandish ways make some people roll their eyes, but that's what I buy my ticket for. I went to an early screening for it. It's not what I expected. I thought it was, good horror, like visually, and an interesting concept, but I know he is just naturally divisive kind of filmmaker, so I don't think everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. So there are my three.
Thank you. So I've only seen a Care a Lot of yours. My first one is Halloween Kills. I don't get what the fuck you're all fucking complaining about. It was a riot.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
So shit.
It was a riot. I had a great fucking time. Judy Greer being her best fucking self.
Judy Greer was good.
I saw it at Venice at like 8 in the morning, and we all came out and we all thought it was great. We all thought it was really camp, and then it leaned into the ridiculousness. And I think it was aware of how camp it was, and I think it was aware of how stupid it was. And I had a great fucking time, and I don't know what you all want from these movies, because that was giving you what you wanted, and if that's not what you wanted, I don't know what to tell you. And long live Judy Greer. I love her. That's my one.
MVPs, Big John, Little John.
Yes, Big John, Little John. Oh my god. I wrote about them in my review. I loved them. Good. What a highlight to say that I went to like the ridiculous like Venice Film Festival to watch Halloween.
I know. Those two things didn't compute in my head, but
it's because
maybe I'm being snobby.
No, it's because Jamie Lee Curtis was getting an award for like Lifetime, whatever, and that was the only film that they had to show. My second choice is going to be Malcolm and Marie, which came out in January of 2021. I
never ended up watching that.
Right. I got to see an early cut of this film, and I loved it. Like, not an early cut, like early release. Like I got a screener for it, like before it came out, and I poured myself some whiskey, and I watched it, and I loved it, and I thought it was intense and brilliant and beautifully acted and dynamically staged and just choreographed to perfection, and I was so engrossed, and I thought Zendaya gave one of the best performances I've ever seen, and I gave it a 5-star review, and I honestly thought Zendaya would be getting Oscar nominations, and then all the other reviews came out, and everyone fucking banned it, and said it was shit, and said it was up itself, because it talks about not liking critics, and I was like, why are you all paying attention to that character? Why are you all paying attention to Malcolm being a dickhead? Why are none of you paying attention to Marie and how wonderful she is? And yeah, like, joke's on me, because people did not like that film. And Zendaya.
Well, it sounds like they took it a bit too personally.
It didn't help as well that, like, Zendaya looks about 16. She does look very young, but she isn't 16. She's in her mid-20s.
Yeah. She's got a very thin frame.
Yeah, so she looks waifish and tiny.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was implied in the film as well. I loved it. I don't just haters. What's wrong?
I will watch it eventually.
You'll probably hate it.
I don't know. I don't really hate things that often. She says at the end of a 3-hour podcast when she's like, hate, shit, hate, lost the will to live, all of this crap.
And then the last one I'm going to go for, which I didn't think was poorly received, but according to Letterboxd it was, is Dashcam, which is by the guy that did Host. So I gave it 4 stars. I didn't even realise that had
a wide release yet.
I don't know. But according to Letterboxd, it only has a 2.7 rating.
Oh.
Which I thought was very low.
That surprises me.
Batshit. It is very strange. The actress is a real person basically playing herself who might be a right-wing supremacist. So there's some complicated things around the film. It was very strange. That. But I saw it at London Film Festival with a bunch of lovely critic friends. And my reaction to the film was some of the highlights for them, because I lost my fucking mind screaming and trying to bury myself in the seat because I just couldn't stop screaming, and everything that was happening was very intense and it was just a lot. And I made some friends that day because of my very over-the-top reactions, and it was a great, terrifying time at the cinema. Good memories. Very strange film. And there we go. That's it. They're the ones.
I am gonna sleep. Well, I can't sleep forever, but I'm so you know when like a big project is done, and then you can be like, ah.
But Daisy, it's not over, because you've got to come back next week to talk about Cosmic Sin in detail with our lovely friends Dan and Joe from the Dan and Joe Film Show.
No, it'll be fine.
So it's not quite over. Just like we had to go back and do 365 Days last year, gonna go back and do Cosmic Sin this year.
I feel like it'll be fine because I'll be refreshed, because I won't have been watching Razzie films for the past 6 weeks. This has been a great experience. I've loved doing it, but I need to recover. I need to recover. Okay.
Thank you for joining us in this journey.
Yeah. Sorry that I've become extremely deflated in the past 3 hours of recording. The fun thing
is that I'm splitting this episode in 2, so you're going to have a really upbeat episode and a really downbeat episode.
And they're going to be like, what happened to Daisy?
Yeah.
The life has been drained from her soul.
Yeah.
That's what happens when I'm committed to the craft, sold my soul to the devil with this one, unfortunately. But I'll be back with a vengeance next episode. I promise. So as you can hear, the Razzies have defeated us, but I think we're glad that we got it through to the finish line. Have you seen any of these films, though? Do you think that any of these points that we've made are fair? Do you feel like potentially some of these are actually Oscar winners? Who knows? Everyone's opinion is valid, except when you're wrong. No, I'm joking. Do let us know what you think. This is obviously so many films to talk about, so I'm sure there are lots of people out there who have seen various combinations of these. I'm really intrigued to see if anyone's watched as many Bruce Willis films as we have. But please do get in touch and let us know. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at WRatedPod and on Letterboxd at WRated. Claire, where can we find you on the socials?
At Claire Ellen Hope on Twitter and on Instagram.
Easy peasy. And you can find me at Daisy Vic Edwards on Twitter and Daisy Victoria Edwards on Instagram and Letterboxd. And big thanks for sticking with us through this two-parter. I guess you're gonna do a two-parter for this one. Always thankful to have people listening to our chats and engaged and enjoying them, and talking to us on socials, and just sticking with us for all of this time. It makes it all worth it. So if you do enjoy listening to the podcast, give us a follow, give us a subscribe, that'll be the one, and go on, just give us a rating and review as well. Look at how hard we've worked. Listen to the pain in our voice, my voice. when it comes to these things. Just kidding, but no, it would be great if you do enjoy it, to give us a rating and review. And yeah, hope you can join us for the next episode, where we take on our next worst rated film, which, as mentioned, is Cosmic Sin, with some special guests. See you then.